was difficult, as it is for every single immigrant. No difference. It's a long-term process, lots of setbacks. I was told I had to take my exam in engineering in English, and I didn't speak English. My husband was a teacher in Hungary, and they said that certificate doesn't count here, and we came with 3 children. So it was very, very difficult. It's very stressful. You feel like you don't know anything. Your self-esteem is very low. It's a lots of things, depends on who you are as a human being. Provide possibilities for informal connections. Organization has to be ready to do it. You need to a little bit adjust. There's no one way of providing information, not even talking about so much information a person need, and it's impossible to just, okay, here's the information and you go and you are done. No, it's a long-term process, and you need all the time different information, and you are at a different phase in your life and in the settlement process. The organization need to know that how you will accept and when will you accept that information. And that's difficult.
I wouldn't certainly say it was easy. It took me a while to get into something that I can now say is utilizing my skills, which I got from back home, from my country, India. I started from a job that was, of course, an underemployment for me. I started working in customer service at a retail outlet. And the good thing was it was a part-time job, so I was able to give the other half of my time in focusing on my job search in a professional area, and ultimately I am now facilitating, which is very close to teaching that I was doing back home. So I started my credential evaluation even prior to landing. That gave me a little edge. When I landed here, I knew where my master's or doctorate stood. I was teaching in a university back home, but here I found it was very challenging for me to get into a university. In the university, it was very challenging because the courses are floated and you have to be, you're not employed. It's something that you have to crack. It's a big glass ceiling there, and it would have taken me a long time to do that. So I was able to help and plan an alternate career goal based on my transferable skills with my employment counselor. Also, apart from networking, I felt it was self-marketing that I didn't know according to as per what we call the Canadian style of promoting yourself. And the last thing was that I didn't feel I had a confidant in front of whom I could earn and learn. I used to go to a job interview and then I was always scared, what if I answered wrong? But I was fortunate to get into a mentoring program where I found that confidant, a professional, with whom I was able to practice these soft skills. So volunteering is a big thing that helped me overcome, that helped me get some local references, and also the confidence of the employers whom I started applying to for job, that I know Canadian workplace culture, I would know how to communicate, I know what is teamwork, and I know how to blend. So it's a gradual process. It was a difficult process, but it wasn't impossible at all.
It's extremely important for new immigrants to be engaged in civic activities. This is the way we would be able to make a sense of belonging. We don't call it home if we just work in the city and we don't get engaged in the local activities. We don't make contributions to the local society, our community, and things like that. If we don't do that, I think it's very difficult for new immigrants to really call a new home their real home. It might be a cultural difference here because a lot of people, I can say from our cultural background, they do not have those many opportunities to engage in civic activities or volunteering. For newcomers, it's better to have some sort of cultural events so that they understand the Canadian value, and that's what I learned when I came here. People just enjoy helping others, right? So I started to do that, and I also gained a sense of satisfaction.
And I actually found out different culture, they actually like to know other culture, but they have no idea how to get involved to, and then they have no idea. And on the flip side, a lot of Canadian like a local Canadian, they want to know other culture as well, but they have no idea how they are going to interact with those people from different countries. It's good to create a platform for people to meet and then for people to interchange their own culture. I think like a human behavior, everybody coming to a new country, to be honest, everybody's all very sensitive. They will be more sensitive than they are in their own country. So for example, like when they are in a new country, they will be very sensitive. Are people nice to me? Are people accepting me? Are people actually look down on me? Were people accepting my culture? Were people accepting like the way I dress, the way I talk, and then the way I interact with people? People tend to be more sensitive in this way than their own countries. So for example, if people on the street or like in the library other than your own culture, and then they approach you, the way you interact with them, they actually know if you are welcoming them or not. But there's only one common language, which is your heart. If you talk to them from your heart, and then you show them you really care about them, you're really interested in what they like, what they eat, I mean, they can feel it. They can definitely feel it. Yeah.
Well, I think first of all, vibrancy. Our city is certainly one of the most multicultural cities anywhere in the world. We speak over 100 languages. It's a city that really has so much going for it in terms of the diversity within our community that makes a real difference to Burnaby being a place everyone wants to come to. Well, of course, when you have people coming from all over the world, there are challenges. You have people that have different backgrounds, different cultures, they have different languages. Coming together under those circumstances means that people have to make a special effort to ensure that they understand each other and that they understand that they have the same kind of values and they want the same kinds of opportunities for their families. We have a city that reflects, I think, the ability of the world to work together. It is able to speak to all parts of the world. And what comes out of that is creativity, the opportunity for people to bring the assets into our community that will allow them to create a better world for everyone. I think that's a very important thing that comes out of the diversity that we have here in our city.
The BIPT is not a service provider per se. It really is a platform for bringing service providers and other community groups together and doing research, doing planning, getting the message out of what's available within the community. I think the strength of the BIPT is really that piece of connecting community entities. Newcomers, refugees, and immigrants with community agencies and service providers, with government ministries, city departments, even business and business organizations.